Exactly.
I fucking love it.
It's the ADD podcast. Whatever goes. But yeah, guys, welcome back to the podcast. This week we have a legend, Kaden Ewald, with us today. Kaden, he's a homie. Kaden, you want to introduce yourself?
All you really need to know about me is I got Jacoby into skydiving.
He did.
So all the way.
Yeah, the credit goes to Kaden for being a legend and bringing me into the sport, and hopefully we'll be base jumping soon together.
Hell yeah. We just got to get Jacoby up from San Diego. I'll be in Utah here soon.
Yeah, so where are you right now?
Right now we're out here in Tulum.
Sick. How long have you been out there?
This is our second week in Tulum. We just are headed back from 7 months in Belize. But we is in me and my fiance, Madison.
That's awesome, man. Again, congratulations. Yeah, you guys, it's been like a year now, right?
Yeah, just over.
Nice. Yeah. So if you guys don't know, I used to live in Tulum, and I met Kaden shortly before I moved there. And then he kind of came down and did the same thing, and he's been in Belize for most of this year, right? A little bit of time in Mexico, but most of this year you've been in can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Sweet. Cool. And so I really want, the reason I want to bring you on the podcast, man, is like, so I don't know if you know, but background is basically I just want to bring people on that are just kind of pursuing more of an untraditional path. Last week we talked with Cameron. If you guys haven't heard that episode, definitely go check that out. Super cool stuff he's been doing. He's a website wizard, been in the space since he's 15, building websites for clients, built his first website at 11. This is Kaden. He started super young too, as well, on the path entrepreneurship. But yeah, Kaden, I just thought it'd be cool to share kind of your path and what you've done. With people that are interested in doing the same thing from early age, not necessarily chasing a paycheck, but creating their own path. What first inspired you to get into entrepreneurship, and like what was that first job that you had as a kid, and how old were you when you first got into the biz?
Well, when I was younger, I realized what money was when I was mowing lawns. There was this older widow in our neighborhood.
You started out mowing lawns?
Bro, I mowed lawns, I shoveled snow, I did everything.
Same. Okay, cool. Same.
I was always just on neighbors' doorsteps. I'd be selling chocolates for my school for different projects. Well, we never got compensated for it, so I used to go straight up to doors and I'd be like, yeah, this box of chocolates, that says it's $1. Yeah, it's actually $2, so we have markup. We need to make some money. And people would actually laugh and buy it from us.
Bro, I started out selling rocks. I used to get rocks and sea glass from the beach, and I would sell rocks. And
I love that.
People would buy rocks.
I saw a lady collecting sea glass one day while I was cleaning up garbage, and I was just like, that's so badass. Like, you don't think sea glass is cool until you see a jar of it.
Yeah, like alone, it's nothing, but when you have like a bunch of it, it's pretty sick.
Super cool.
Yeah. Cool. Well, so you
quantities of anything is cool.
You start out mowing lawns, and then how did it progress from there?
Well, there was this widow who I was mowing her lawn basically for free. My parents wouldn't allow me to ask for any amount of money and just told me who I'd mow lawns for. So, yeah, I went into her basement one day when she invited me in, and her husband had all of these RC planes, her deceased husband, and she was just showing them to me, and I was like, yes, please. I was a kid in a candy store. I wanted one so badly, and then everyone kept telling me how delicate they were and how I'd just damage and break them and so on. And like, this lady who I was mowing her lawn basically for free, I was like, yeah, she's totally going to give me one of those. So every time I'd show up to mow her lawn, I was stoked. I'd mow her lawn, and every time I was expecting a plant.
So it was like a barter system kind of thing.
That's when I realized that like you have to be paid, and I thought I could just get away with it with working for it, but no, pay when they don't want to,
Yeah, if the
or
internet
when
is
they
a
don't
little,
have to.
yeah, I was gonna say if the internet's a little slow, it's because yeah, he's in
Okay.
Tulum. We're trying to get the best connection here, but dude, so that's dope. You mowed lawns, you got planes in return, and
I
then
didn't get planes. I
you
wanted
wanted
planes.
you wanted planes. Okay, and then what was the first kind of thing that shot you into what you? I mean, so yeah, if you guys don't know, he's from Canada. We love Canadians. And you started young though, I thought, right? You were like 14 or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah,
When
I was
you
when
moved
I was
out, you
mowing
moved out,
lawns
you
and
moved out
doing
of
all
your,
that stuff.
you moved out of home when you were like 14, right? Or
I was
13?
like 15.
You were like 15. Okay, I moved.
Yeah.
I don't know if you knew. Yeah, I moved out when I was 14. He moved out when he was 15. And then how did you yeah pay for stuff?
Well, after that, I lived on like $8 a week, peanut butter jelly and baked beans. Gotta love your baked beans and canned tuna.
Ramen noodles.
I coasted around, worked for a guy that had an apartment, let me stay there. That dude ended up having a heart attack like a couple months into working for him, and he owed me a bunch of money. It took him a while to pay me, but he left with a phone at the time, so I had a phone plan the whole time, which was really dope because communication's everything. Then I started getting certifications. I wanted to actually make some real money, so I got some diamond drilling certifications and went to work drilling after I was working at a Woodmere tree nursery. I was growing some pot at the time too, and I kind of went through working at a tree nursery, growing some weed, working for a diamond drilling company, got drug tested.
You were doing all this at the same time?
Yeah, bro. I was trying to get certified to go diamond drilling, growing pot.
So you were growing pot, you were diamond drilling, and you were planting trees.
When I was diamond drilling, I was working in the shop at first. I worked in the shop for a couple months before they let me go out because I was super young and they wanted to know that I had some responsibility. So then I got out drilling after that. I used drilling to pay for a lot of my university at first.
Nice. So and what's the biggest diamond you ever saw?
So diamond drilling, geotechnical drilling, it's you're just using diamond filled bits to cut through hard rock.
You're just mining. Okay.
It's obviously
okay.
diamonds.
What kind of stuff are you drilling?
So we're taking out core samples. I was working uranium, copper and gold, and that's more or less it. Gold.
What was it?
Is it like again? Copper and gold and uranium.
Copper and gold and uranium. Dope. That's awesome. And you
yeah.
And then so let me give a quick bio so people can kind of understand what you're doing now. You pretty much been traveling. Well, when I met you, so when we met, we'll go back to when we met. Neither of us had skydived. Well, you kind of had. I'd love for you to tell that story. And we met at a boat party.
I did one tandem before that.
You did one tandem, two tandems,
two,
and had a little situation with the wingsuit. And neither of us had skydive. We both wanted to skydive, so we kind of connected over that. And yeah, we didn't really. I moved to Tulum, and then I went on a road trip around the U.S. Then I moved to Tulum, and then I didn't really talk with him for about 5-6 months, and then connect with him, and he had like 200 skydives within 6 months, and he'd been living out of a van, skydiving at a bunch of drop zones all over the U.S. But how did that inspiration come from, like getting in, from that first tandem, and then what did you do to get into that little situation with the wingsuit? Tell that story.
Like a big part of my entrepreneurial journey, and when I realized that I could actually visualize what I wanted to see in the future, and like actually looking at all aspects of it through visualization is really important. It was kind of at a point in time when I was dreaming and it'd be like I was skydiving. I was just out of control of myself, just in free fall. I wanted to learn to control myself. So it's always been a desire of mine. Like I fundamentally needed to skydive. So I made some money in crypto and decided to go on the road after a disappointment. I feel like I got fucked in one of my companies, but well, isn't it Warren Buffett who always says, people always say congratulations, or
Oh, I think we may have lost Kaden here. We internet's spotty in Mexico.
kind of live out significant moments that changed my life mentally when I learned that I could like control my flight. I'm getting unstable connection, so I'm probably lost here. Right there.
Nice, but you bought a wingsuit off of eBay.
Facebook Marketplace, bro.
Facebook Marketplace. Okay.
I do that again, actually.
You what? Yeah, his internet is not it.
So it's been brutal. We've had a couple power outages in the past week, but
shoot, man, that's not good. So you bought a wingsuit and then now I want to hear that story, bro.
That's where you want to go.
That's where I want to
go. I bought a Phoenix Fly Ghost 3 wingsuit. For anyone who knows, it's like an amateur wingsuit, something around 50 wingsuit jump should have you in, and a skydiving rig off Facebook Marketplace. And Jacoby's laughing because he knows how fucking stupid this is.
It's so funny.
Everyone is like, how are you alive? I don't know either. It's I hacked myself off of a mountain in a wingsuit with a skydiving rig, and somehow I lived, and like the whole thing's
And you had zero.
Jacoby
you
knows.
had like one tandem. Tandems.
No, I had no tandems. So
you had no tandems at that point.
No.
You never jumped.
None.
You never wow.
If I had done one tandem, there's no way I could have. Like, to me, it was like just look over the edge and run. Jumping out of an airplane was completely different. I like straight up. My skydiving instructor didn't really feel like I froze up. I don't think I could have jumped out of the plane my first tandem. And I've always been a person that says like I can fucking do anything. And I think I maybe could have, but like I have no assurances in my mind that I could have even pushed myself out of an airplane. I don't even know if I could have let go of the airplane on my first
100%, man.
solo when I had a
that fear, like that first tandem,
nothing in your body.
My whole body was just shaking with like fear, and you see, and the door opens and just all the wind rushing in, and there's like no way in hell that you're jumping out of that, and the only reason you go is because you're attached to this other dude, and you're just like, before you can realize what's happening, it's just stimulation overload. You get up there, for the first time you realize you're in an airplane with the door open. You've never been in an airplane before with the door open, so that alone is like, is this okay? Like, and then just the wind, and then you're just falling, and you're just there.
It's chaotic, and like you don't feel like you can make sense out of it or control it in any way. And like that's where
you're just in the experience. There's nothing else.
That's where when I was never had how to control skydive. When I left an airplane, I was stable. My first time, my second time, my third time, my fourth time. I did my first like 15 skydives before I got in a wind tunnel, and then I got in a wind tunnel, and I was stable in that too. And I'll back fly and sit fly, and like I'll try to pop into the head down.
I've been doing a lot of back flying lately. It's fun. It's so fun.
Bro, tons of fun. But like I got through confidently being able to do all that, but there's no assurances in my mind I could have gone back and done it in the same order. Like I definitely couldn't, knowing what I know now. And it was a crazy experience just knowing that I had to put a foot forward and do it. Like there's something in me that knew that it was part of my destiny to do that. There was nothing that was going to stop me.
That's amazing, man. I love it. No, I was the same. Like I was determined, like this is gonna happen regardless. And yeah, you got me to come out. I was in Tulum at the time, and yeah,
We
flew out and
actually
met you.
gave away the rig that I jumped off that mountain with when we were in Texas. There,
Yeah, so
we
we
get.
yeah in Texas. So I flew out to the middle of Texas. We flew to Austin, met him, drove out in his little van that he'd
Yeah,
been sleeping out of. What kind of van was it?
Subaru Sandbar.
Super Sandbar, super dope little van. And yeah, we just skydived in the middle of Texas out of some little tiny Cessna planes.
It was a good time. I told Jacoby he had to come out to this little drop zone because I'd been to a bunch of drop zones at that point in time. And there are so many people that are like afraid, but they cling to skydiving anyway. It's weird. There's like a fear in the air. And while you have to be respectful, you don't want to be around fear like that, no matter how like respectful it is to maybe be afraid of it. Like I'm not a big fan of that. Jacoby's realized that
It's
since. So.
yeah, because I've been to it's I don't have as many jumps as Caden. I'm still very new to the sport. But I have been to a lot of drop zones and been in a wind tunnel before. Yeah, with Caden and just being around bigger drop zones, being out here in California where I am now. Yeah, man, it's nice because when we were at that little drop zone, it was just very calm and as it should be, right? It was a very personal, introspective experience. You weren't treated as a number. It was all about just the progression and just really taking the time and having that relationship with fear, which is very important, but also having fun. And I think a lot of people they are really scared of skydiving, and a lot of people that do it because they're trying to get over a fear. And sometimes, man, you just got to let go and just
Let's be realistic. I'm afraid of it too, and like it's not logical if you look at statistics, but being afraid and doing it anyway, it's empowering in a way that you'd never believe. Skydiving's less dangerous than getting in your car. So being afraid and doing something anyway because it looks a lot more dangerous, just understanding why it's dangerous and taking all the precautions you can to compensate for that. It's very important. It's
yeah, and just
realize or
trusting
respect.
and
Yeah,
trusting. Like I'm like just
trusting in your gear.
trusting the gear was the biggest thing for me. I didn't know how this whole apparatus. Now I know more how it works, but yeah, I didn't know how you pull something and then it just a chute comes above you. You don't know how that works when you're first getting into it, and that is a lot, as well as trusting these instructors who you've met a few hours prior.
It seems surreal. It seems surreal that you are just going to pull this thing nylon out of your back and it's going to save you or like prevent you from going full speed into the earth. But also, what you said about the instructors is you don't realize at first, but other skydivers just allowing those instructors to be in the air is a huge thing of honor because jumping with anyone, it's the people around you are the most dangerous thing to you. And just
100%.
each skydiver being comfortable getting in the air with each skydiver around them and the standards set out by the USPA and all that. It's a huge responsibility. People take it very seriously. And there's a great community of people around the sport.
Yeah, it's an amazing subculture, amazing community. I highly recommend. I've been trying to get everybody
which is why I'm ashamed of how I entered the sport. Kind of disregards all the people that went before me, and a lot of people who get angry when they hear something like that because they just go, that's so irresponsible. There's all these people that have made a lot of mistakes before you so that you can learn from them.
No, and I definitely think you're in the right headspace now. That was a different time in season in your life. And I was the same way. I would watch, videos on Instagram. Oh, that looks sick. Skydiving wings. Oh, I just want a wingsuit. And it's like, dude, you can't just go up in wingsuit. It takes years. It takes lots and lots of dedicated practice. And you got to develop an immense respect for the sport and for, everyone who's gone before you and paved the way, the people who have, had accidents and everything that's come and how the sport has progressed. Like it used to be a much more dangerous sport, and now it's a lot safer because of the hard work and dedication of a lot of people.
And now I get in a wingsuit in a couple weeks.
Are you? Where are you jumping?
Yeah, bro. In Utah, I'll pump off. So including base jumps, I have about 200 jumps. but USPA wants me to have 200 skydives. I'll have to do about 30 more skydives, and it's actually 29 today. I'll be getting a wingsuit in Utah, so
You go
pretty
jump today?
excited about that. What?
You jump today?
Oh no, not today. I've only done 2 jumps here in Playa. They've only let me get up once a day, and I'm an hour away, so I don't really feel like making the journey to go jump once in a
It's a
day.
bit of a drive. Yeah.
It wasn't too bad when I had the motorbike. Like I do it in 25, 30 minutes, but if I took a taxi, it'd be an hour and a half, and also I'd have to pay a taxi driver.
No, yeah, Playa de Carmen's a dope little beach landing there in just north of Tulum.
Got out Mexico for anyone. We'll just plug them.
Yeah, we'll plug
Jorge's dope. Yeah.
Jorge's a dope little dude, and they got a little setup there, and yeah, they'll hook you up. Sweet, man. So what I guess I want to kind of get into what motivated you to get into base too, because you got into that pretty quick, and a lot of people, you know, they're in skydiving for years before they jump into base, and you went right into it. We lost him again. Hello, hello.
I can hear you.
Okay, dope.
I just thought base the next part to let it go. So jumping off of a bridge was kind of insane to me. It felt more insane than anything. It was the next progression to get in a wingsuit for wing base. I still have not jumped anything on this span. Quite safe for jump. I'll be jumping span again this day up in Idaho. But yeah.
Yeah, so Kaden, you're moving to Utah specifically to pursue base jumping and skydiving, right? Hello. The internet.
Somewhere to specifically pursue base and skydiving, it would be California. California has some incredible base jumping and skydiving.
Which is where
so
I am.
does Utah. Love sky. I love skydive Utah. Skydive Moab's also pretty sweet. They'll let you charter planes after hours, do all sorts of stuff like that, which is fun. But and of course the base community in Moab's huge. The idea behind Utah, I want to introduce the world to terpenes. I love cannabis, and terpenes, they put you to sleep to give you energy.
He self-proclaimed smoked more weed than Wiz himself.
There's a strong likelihood that I have in my life smoked more weed than most anybody my age. Very high.
When did you first try cannabis?
I first tried cannabis when I was about 16, snowboarding. Was hanging out with some friends. They pulled off. I took a few hits. I felt like it was the best day I've ever had in the park. Tons of fun. But then I was growing weed about the same time, and I did not smoke much. I got into university. I smoked a little bit in university, and then I had my diamond drilling accident. I smoked a lot more weed after that. I stopped taking all other substances. I got hooked on some other substances at the time. It was not pretty, and cannabis saved my life for sure. I've loved it ever since. Yeah.
That's crazy. And do you want to get into that accident at all, or is that something that's?
It's well, diamond drilling. I went through a drill rig floor. A rod went through the floor with me, and I dislocated my SI joint, and I had some other injuries. Smacked my head really hard. I was like in the hospital in physio, everything like that. It was really painful. And after that, I got into other substances.
You were in the hospital for like several months, right?
A couple of weeks, yeah.
A couple of weeks. Okay. Still though.
Yeah. So it was miserable. Yeah. I was not happy with life after that, and I really didn't have much motivation to live. I only wanted to be a professional athlete in my life before that, and then I had that accident, and
in hockey, right? You were trying to play hockey.
I was playing hockey and soccer at university at the same time I had that accident.
Interesting.
I really wanted to play professional hockey. That was always my goal. I wanted to go to Michigan State University so bad to pursue hockey, but that was something I was not trying to do with my academics at the time.
You get good grades in school?
I did for like my first couple semesters. In high school, I did, not university. I wanted to pursue what I wanted to pursue, and I felt like I was just sitting in on classes and doing things that I would never use, never look to in my life.
How many universities were you at?
2.
You went to just 2. Okay. So
the second one I went to, I actually got banned from I think I was the first student banned from their campus because I like pot. I gave pot to everyone.
Yeah, that's not looked high upon in university usually.
It was a Christian university that was
and they expelled.
They gave me like a $500 fine for smoking on campus when I took some edibles off campus and came back, which wasn't against policies, and a few other instances where I was just like, fuck you, your policies don't cover this, and then they were just telling me that I had to pay them different stuff the whole time. I was also tight on money, so I was just pissed off that they were always trying to take my money. And I was just like, fuck this school. Smoked way too much weed, gave away way too much weed. Nah, there's no such thing.
There's no such thing?
None at all. I think more people need to smoke, chill out, and stop obsessing about.
People take life too seriously.
What the future's supposed to.
Yeah,
Completely.
people take life too seriously, and that's facts. It's funny because you actually, I don't know if it was your first university or second university before or after this incident of getting kicked out. Your roommate, it was your roommate, right? Went to school with me in high school at a boarding school in West Africa, and was my roommate.
That was my first university. That was when I was yeah. that was the really funny part where we were like, small world. Yeah.
Shout out to Joash.
Yeah, Joash is a legend. One of my favorite people from university. He was also my tutor for math because just terrible at math in university.
Oh man, I haven't taken math, man, since I was 17.
Really?
I slept down.
I wish that university. Was the case.
I didn't take an English class. I finessed university, man. I like, okay, guys, and university is important for learning how to write emails, for learning how to network. But other than that, what else? Learning how to manage your time, maybe.
For entrepreneurs, I think there's a lot of doctors that really need to pay attention to their textbooks. But at the same time, I think more doctors need to look outside their textbooks.
100%. I mean, and most of you guys probably listening to this are, interested or are on that entrepreneurial path. Like if you're taking a generic degree, even business, you don't really need to go to university for business. I'm in business. I never got a degree in business. My degree was in digital media, business. Video. Was a great degree, but once again, it's important for maturing, for making those connections, whatever it may be. So I'm not like, I did have a great education. I'm very thankful for it, and I learned a lot. I met a lot of cool people. But it's not necessary, right? If you have a path that you already want to pursue and you have goals and you're motivated, I don't think it's necessary, right? But like you said, if you're a doctor, if you're if you're a lawyer, there's some things that you have to kind of take that path, and you got to know yourself, right? So you gotta kind of have these different introspective experiences to know yourself, whether you are someone who is more entrepreneurial, or if you're someone who's more head down, grind, analytical thinker, right? What do you think, Caden?
I think going back to university,
Would you send your son? Would you send your son to university?
No. My son can pay for his university when he's ready. I feel like you have to figure out.
That's what I'm saying. Would you encourage your son? Would you encourage your son to go to university?
Not at all. No. I would encourage my son to go get some real world experience and then go to university after you have a respect for knowledge, because knowledge is really powerful. Nobody can negate that knowledge is powerful, and to have it laid out by professionals is important, but most of the professionals you'll run into in your life are not professors. Professionals are the people that actually went out there, became an expert in their field, and succeeded in it. What you hear from professors is usually handed down knowledge from those experts who were their friends or buddies who they looked down upon at one point in time. And that's where the professors usually don't have a respect for the people who actually have gone out there and done it. That's my opinion. You just have to be able to see through that. And
take with a grain of salt. Like you do,
completely.
There's a lot of knowledge you can get from professors, but yeah, a lot of times it's outdated. They're getting it from textbooks that have been written, and by the time they're published, they're 3, 4. Even if it's the year of the publishing of that textbook, it's 3, 4 years old, right? Why would you want to learn from an expert that's actually doing it in real life?
You know how your professor tells you to get your sources from somewhere reputable? You should do the same thing with your professor and challenge their sources, because far too many people just accept their professors or educators' word for what it is. And that's why education is shitty, because people are complacent with asking questions: why, how, where. Some of the most important questions on the face of the earth that people are told not to ask, which far too often people are told not to ask those questions. That's where I think you have to ask your educators questions, and if they won't reply, you demand answers. An educator is there to answer your questions, not to tell you information.
Questions are huge, right? You need to ask questions. You need to be wondering. You need to be challenging the norm. You need to be going against the grain. You need to be.
You have to see the norm in order to challenge it, though. That's why I say I would love to go back to university now that I have a little more knowledge on how to address things like that and how to ask questions. Because learning how to challenge the norm, and then going and sitting in on the norm and learning what the norm is and asking questions. I think that's what excites me about the idea of going back to university one day.
And I'm down. I would love to teach one day too. I think that'd be very, very cool. But again, with a different perspective of actually doing it, right? Like if you're not actually in the field, then I'm like, maybe you're not it, right? And it's crazy because we've had the same education system for years, right? Professor, students, lecture, and we've had the internet, for 20, 30 years now, and there's a lot that can change, right? It needs to be reformed. It needs to be reformed. It's long past due. Real world experience is always king. With the internet age, there's so much you can learn from the internet. There's a lot to sift through, right? There's a lot of noise. But if you can, find like my best advice always is, find what you want, find the person that's doing what you want to do, and then go work for them for free. Go offer your services for free. Become a mentee and just learn. And I'm what's funny for me, I don't know if this is the same for you, Caden, but for me, like in university, right, you're learning stuff. You kind of are interested, but for the most part, it's not 100% what you want to learn. And then now that I'm out of university, I'm still learning. I'm reading all the time. Everything that I'm taking in, and it's stuff I'm actually passionate about, and it's stuff that I'm just exponentially just expanding. And I feel that's the same for a lot of people. Is once you get out of university, right, you never stop learning. But it's kind of
after you have that desire to learn. After you have that desire to learn, it's incredible. But that's where I was going to say experience before education, because once you have that experience, you want to learn. nothing's going to stop you from learning. When you go to university initially, it's kind of difficult because you have to go to your classes. It's like going to a job, but you're just being told information and you're paying for it. That should fuck with everybody's idea of what it means to learn. Like, you should be paid for your apprenticeships. You should be paid for different things like that. People that come before you, if they're not paying you, just they don't believe in you, and them not believing in you means that they're not going to offer you a job when that apprenticeship's over. So, like, don't start in the first place.
The European system does it well. They do have Switzerland,
I agree.
Germany. They the apprenticeship programs they have. That's great.
Yeah, that's how it should be. 100%.
Yeah, that's awesome. And what when was your last, I guess, official paycheck job?
I was supposed to be getting a salary from the company I work for the past year and a half, for the past year and a bit.
But you've been working for equity. I'm talking about like paycheck.
I get paid equity, and then I get. I told my last job that I wanted a salary. Before that, my last salary job or paycheck job was working in a coffee shop in university. So I don't. Nice. That's probably been almost 4 years.
Nice. And how was that feeling? You know, going every day, working, you know, as a barista, and were you a barista? I'm not sure. And you know,
I was washing dishes and sitting there after work on my computer, designing my own companies.
I love it. Yeah, I worked 3 months at a restaurant, and every day I hated it, and I was telling everyone how I was going to quit and just going to travel the world. And everyone's like, yeah, right, that's not going to happen. And I was like, all right, come November, I'm quitting. And then they came and I quit. And I had a couple other friends who were going to come quit with me, and no one else did. And I did. And I left and never looked back.
Yeah. I feel like you have to get out of situations where you're under someone else as soon as you can if you ever want to be independent. Like, yeah. So I have a difficult time ever applying for jobs and stuff. Like,
I just hate.
You don't plan on being there. Oh, me too. Cover letters? Are you serious? Like, yeah. If I ever see a well-written cover letter come in one day, I'm just gonna be like, nerd. No, I'm kidding. I love nerdy people.
I love nerd. You're a nerd, bro. What do you mean?
I know. I've always wanted to be less of one, but at the same time, I love knowledge and I love options. Options are great. So I learned that
money provides everything. That. Money. That's a beautiful thing about money, is it provides choices.
That's the only reason why I ever want money in life. But at the same time, money doesn't do that, as well as like just people and having a network. Your network is your net worth. I've heard that so many times in my life, but I completely agree with that.
Mm-hmm. Money doesn't buy
wouldn't be. Oh, that's so true. It's all about the people you surround.
But I've never seen anybody unhappy on a yacht or a jet ski.
I haven't, but I haven't been accompanying them very often. So how can you be happy without me? That's my question. I'm like fucking awesome. So if
yeah,
if you want to be happy, just invite me on your jet ski.
We have some fun adventures, that's for sure.
You're the one living on a sailboat right now. Come on.
Yeah, hey, I have an open room, bro. Just come through.
Well,
he wasn't allowed back into America for like 6 months.
It's supposed to be 9 months.
9 months.
Because I stayed for 9 months. I applied to stay an extra 3 months, but they didn't really get my application during COVID, I don't think. But the immigration lawyers I spoke with said I didn't need to hear back because I applied. I was good. So I did that. And it's just been a complete hassle. I tried to go back through the US to go to Mexico, and they're like, no, you can't come through. And I'm like, I'm trying to go to Mexico, not here. And they're like, but you landed here. And I'm like, so send me away to Mexico where my connecting flight is.
So what happened with fractional finance?
Oh, that's
Just briefly go over it, just kind of meant because it's a great lesson for people. I talked about it with Cameron, just how he built up this company for 2 years. If you had, like I said, if you guys haven't heard that episode, go back and listen to it. But then now he's freelancing again, and he feels way much better, way more better because he doesn't have that pressure. And you kind of went through something similar. You exited this company, and yeah,
I haven't made an exit yet. They want me to sign away my rights to claim anything in the future, and they'll pay me a 50% discount on my equity. And I told them that I'd consider a settlement after they pay me my wages, because I was promised wages from the beginning. What I'd go back to fundamentally for this is, don't work for the future if you don't have the future secured up for you. Also, make sure that you get paid when you're supposed to get paid. If your business partner doesn't want to pay you or make some excuse, you sit down with the lawyer. That's it. You shouldn't be dealing with that. If you leave it in your own hands, you get emotional, you get so on. Don't get emotional about it. You need to be paid what you're owed all the time.
I've had that in the past too. You got to have contracts, even if it's your homie, even if it's a good business partner, friend. You got to have contracts. You got to have things in.
A good contract makes for a great relationship.
Yes, and there's no confusion. Everything's clear, and you can actually get work done and move forward.
Yeah, I have contracts. There's just an unwillingness to work within the contracts, so that's a pain in the ass. I don't want to sue. I don't want to go through all the legal bullshit. But yeah, I would threaten on the other side of it that they were going to bring some shit my way, and I was like, all right. Yeah, so I sat down with a few lawyers.
Caden was the brainchild. Yeah, he was the brainchild of this operation, fractionalizing real estate. He'd been doing that for the past year.
I was only full-time employee, so.
And we lost my brother again. This is unfortunate. Guys, you're going to have to just grind through these little pauses because the info is fire.
When I wasn't getting paid, I just I talked to my business partner a couple times, and he decided to send me a demand letter about 20 days after my contract with the company expired, demanding that I give up my equity and a few other things. So I was a bit baffled by it. It's completely outside of our contracts, and it was after the termination of my contract to work with the company. But I also have a ton of documentation that talks about the future, like why I was working for the company without being paid equity up front. So I was supposed to get paid a combination of equity and dollars. I didn't get either. So that's why I said, just make sure you get paid.
Yeah, exits are always a little messy. There's always some, not always, right? Not always, but I've heard a lot of stories of people having trouble exiting. But now Kaden is, hopefully getting freed of that, and is going to be, on his own, doing his own startup. And
right now I'm going to run a simple business that any idiot can run. That's my goal.
Just get some cash flow.
I have a lot of good friends and a lot of industries that would go well with my new business plan. I'm really excited about it. Been freelancing on a couple other projects to pay to get this one kicked off.
How old were you? How old were you when you made your first million?
Around 19.
What was that feeling?
But it was all on paper, and I wanted to spend it to feel if it was real. And it disappeared just as quickly as it came. But that's when I knew that I was ready to go forward with my entrepreneurial career and actually do something well, because it just gave me some confidence.
Yeah. No, if you don't have the systems built around you, if you don't have the wealth, you can be rich, but not necessarily wealthy, right?
When you get rich, you want to ball out and make everybody like who's
you want to flex for a bit. You do.
You do, and like I did that. I bought the designer clothes and stuff at times, but then I start watching what I built become neglected, and then all of a sudden it's an oh shit moment, and you have to go back and take care of what you built in the first place, and everything's always degraded further than you expected when you were looking at it with some I'm a baller look now. So it's really important to just stay true to yourself, come up with your goal where you want to be one day, and when you get there, enjoy it, and envision whatever you want after that, something bigger, something better. Never say it's the top.
There's no finish line. There's always something more, right? It's never going to fully satisfy you. So you got to just fall in love with the process and the journey of life. It's why I sold 80% of my things, and now I'm living on a sailboat, because life is simple. It doesn't need to be so complicated. Money's a tool, and we get caught up with that from a young age a lot of times. It's it's amazing that you've had this kind of experience early on, as well as Cameron too, because this kind of sets a stage for the rest of your life, right? It takes a lot of people their whole lives to reach a certain level like that, right? And experience that paradigm early on. It's
some people have a hard time accepting the levels and working within the levels, and that's where you have to work with what's dealt you all the time. Being born in North America, like with all the wealth around us, like there's a lot of wealthy places on the planet, but wealth is more out of reach in a lot of other areas than it is in North America. It's really cool.
Or the Western world. In the Western world, yeah.
Completely, because everyone wants everyone to succeed. It feels like a lot of people feel like nobody wants them to succeed and they're down and out. But like most people I know feel like that. They don't succeed a lot of the time. When you really deserve to succeed, you know what you're worth. You know what you've done. You know what type of work you put in, and whether it was worthwhile or not. When you're truly successful, it's when when you're confident in yourself and you know exactly what you've done. You deserve to be where you are.
Yeah. Well said, man. Well said.
Oh yeah.
Mic drop.
Well, mic drop. If I had a mic, so I've been talking with some friends that I'm here with about starting a podcast. We've been writing some articles for a cannabis company in the US and Canada. So we've been talking about starting a YouTube channel where we kind of review some of the products and everything. We already use them all anyway. So,
yeah, man, we've talked about this. I say go for it. I don't know if you know, but I had this podcast for like a year. I recorded a bunch of episodes. A lot of stuff I haven't posted. And yeah, just now started posting like a month ago. So I really want to kind of just ramp this up. But yeah, been doing it for a while. A lot of people, I used to work at a radio station, used to, work with podcasters all the time. Love podcasts.
Top Deck Media.
What's it called?
Top Deck Media. Bro, you're up there on the top deck with sailboat.
That's a good name. I don't actually have right now. I'm just calling it the Jacoby Dueck podcast, but I do need a name. Yeah, man, that's sick. So what's next for Kaden Ewald? Oh, we lost him again. I love it. We're just letting it roll, man. This is the beauty of a free flowing podcast.
I want to focus on I think the entire world's going to be the computation around the world is all going to be done from servers, and I think servers, data processing units are going to be the future of like your phone doesn't need to have a computer inside of it if you have fast enough data transfer, and with satellite internet coming in, the high-speed internet we're seeing around the world. I think we're at a point in time where we can lose the iPhone, lose the Android, and truly move into something that just interacts with the server. So I'm going to, it's a little bit different than crypto mining, but the idea of data mining is where I would like to be next.
Very nice. What do you think about the future of crypto? Right now, we're in the mega recession. I know
I think
you adopted early on. When did you buy your first crypto too? You got in early.
I didn't really buy crypto. I was paid in crypto, but
When did
I
you
got
first
my
get started?
first.
When did you first get started getting paid in crypto?
I've received my first cryptocurrency in 2016.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, so a while ago. I wish I don't wish. I'm happy that I had the experiences I've had with crypto. I sold when I could have made a lot of money, and I've bought when I could have lost money. Overall, I'm significantly up. But yeah, I think that it's given me a lot of great experience.
Nice. So
what about you?
You're in it. What do you mean?
Your first crypto.
When was I? Not that early, man. Like 2020, I believe. I got it right before COVID started. I've been in stocks. I've been in stocks since I was 13. So I made a lot of money in stocks early on as a kid. Like I said, I had a lawn mowing business, had 2 employees, my brother and my cousin. We had like 10 lawns. And yeah, I invested my first like $1,500 when I was 13 in stocks and doubled, tripled, quadrupled that.
I wouldn't be able to make money without investing too. That's where I got into the stock market right away. I invested in companies I was drilling for and pulling out geotechnical samples. It's really some sort of insider information.
Like, shout out to my grandpa, because I would have not gotten in so early. He was an accountant and heavily into it. But like you said, man, there's a lot of opportunities we have in the West that, that give us the opportunity to reach certain levels that others don't have, right? And so always take that,
How many people invest at all? And
a lot of people don't invest, dude. A lot of people live paycheck to paycheck, and they think, oh, you can't invest until you have, I'm making X amount, right? You can start when you have $20. That's what people don't realize. You can start, you just take a small percentage and it builds over time.
I had my diamond drilling accident. I sold all my stocks and stuff at the time. So if I had held the Tesla I had at the time, it'd be like $240,000 today, even after the decrease.
Oh yeah, so I still have Tesla,
and that was only with like about $1,000. I sold all that after my accident, but I know it was. I wish I had more upswings, but I took the upswings that life has given me, and I've done well with them. I feel you can always do better, and you can always say, "Oh, I wish," but that just takes the joy out of life. I'm happy with everything that's gone on. No,
you got to be satisfied with what comes your way. I know as, man, being on this path, I can count way more failures than successes. That's just part of the game. And yeah, it can, a lot of people gives them anxiety, and it's why it's so beautiful when you have that paycheck coming in every month and you don't have to worry, right? But when there's no risk, there's not as great of a reward. And risk takers are history makers.
I don't think I could go to a low risk life. I've had people tell me that I need to, and even my grandpa texts me all the time, tells me how I need to stop taking the risks I do in my life.
Chill out, yeah. Well, how old are you? You're not. How old are you?
24.
Oh yeah, so they say your brain doesn't fully develop your frontal lobe as a male until you're 25. Now studies are even saying 27. So you got time.
Yeah, and I smoke enough weed to slow that down. I'm still probably 18.
You're still probably 18, yeah, mentally. That's great. That's great.
Well, if I'm 18, I'm stoked for 19.
When's your birthday?
My birthday was just 2 months ago tomorrow, or 2 months. 2 months ago yesterday, or 2 months ago tomorrow. That's it. I said it right the first time.
Did I miss your birthday?
Bro, you were supposed to be in Tulum for my birthday, and then you didn't.
When was your birthday?
May 7th.
Oh shoot.
Yeah, bro.
Nice. Happy late.
Thanks.
We only met a year ago, so I'll put it in my calendar so I won't forget again. There we go.
I'm losing you.
No, I'm still here. I'm still here.
I got you. I heard we only met a year ago.
Yeah, that's fine. It's all good. It's all good. What? So
and we were sleeping together after like 2 months or something.
After like 2 months, yeah, we're sleeping together in the van.
Yeah,
that was little. This is a tiny van, man.
For people that don't know, yeah, the thing is maybe like this wide, and we're like buddied up. Oh,
skydiving and sleeping in the van. That was good times, man. And
the cookouts on that grill though, oh, fantastic.
This guy has a camping setup. He knows how to do it.
That's not a cook.
I got a cast iron too for the boat, and it makes the difference, man. You got to have a cast iron.
So many people are like, "Oh, I want this fancy pan." Like a $45 cast iron outcompetes any like $1,000 pot you might look to buy.
Oh, 100%. I never use soap on it. I just let it. I cook my egg scramble in there every morning. You know, sausage. Throw some whatever you have, some veggies. You know, throw some cilantro, green onions. Boom, boom. Add whatever you want, man. And it's different every morning, which is beautiful.
Scallops.
And then I never scallops. Never clean it. I just rinse it out with water. Put some olive oil in there. Just kind of massage it around. Let the chard burn, just like build up over time, just kind of like kind of like those pots that you find in the Mayan ruins, and it just becomes a beautiful taste. And I cooked some salmon in there last night, and it was bomb.
So you camped with me at Lodi. No, you weren't at Lodi, were you?
Spaceland.
Only Spaceland.
Spaceland and Texas skydiving.
Well, we'll have to get you on the road again this summer. So. We'll actually have Madison's Jeep. I'm renting out my van to Blaine. So it'll be with us still, but he's going to be the primary driver. And then we're going to have the Jeep loaded up.
Dope. Yeah, dude. No, yeah. We'll definitely roll some vibes later this summer. You're leaving Belize, man. Are you sad? You've been there 6 months.
I was expecting to get some business generated down here. I had a couple companies telling me that they were going to come down here and work down here. I had meetings with the ministers and prime ministers of Belize. That just fizzled out.
I mean, Belize is a dope country, don't get me wrong, but it's Caribbean lifestyle, so things move a lot slower.
I don't even know if you can, like, yes, it's a cool country, very slow, very cool country.
A lot of opportunities.
The people are amazing. There are so many opportunities, but the people that have taken opportunities down there are primarily very skimpy and do not compensate the locals well enough. They take advantage of everything that they can in the area, and
it's a lot of old money. So some young entrepreneurs coming down there with internet money, trying to buy up land.
Nobody likes you.
Nobody likes us.
Make it very vocal. Yeah, the people that are down there are people that were too poor to retire anywhere else, so they've moved down to Belize, and they fall in a budget, own a lot of the land. They don't even own a lot of the land. Most of the locals own the land, but they aren't willing to give it up to people like the people that are already there at this point in time. So, like, there are locals who give people like us an incredible deal on land, but they would really appreciate if there were some great developments built that actually paid the locals and provided some opportunities. That's why I was so excited to get into cannabis down in Belize, because the locals are fantastic, great people. They all work hard, but they're also aware that they're oppressed. They're definitely oppressed by the church. They're oppressed by it's an oppressed country. If you go and visit, you'll see that everyone's just being told they're doing everything wrong. Nobody's given an opportunity to mess up or do anything. It's a really small town type area with a lot of gossip, but nobody has the opportunity to mess up and do something better. And like, I don't believe that you're ever going to do much with your life without really coming to understand yourself and the type of person you want to be in the world, or what it's like to be the person you don't want to be as well. Beliefs doesn't have the type of forgiveness, which is sad because religions and churches, all they do is preach forgiveness, and people have a hard time doing it for themselves. That's what oppresses a nation like that.
Yeah. You used to meditate a lot, right? How many hours a day do you meditate?
So before I left Canada, I meditated a lot more. I was usually on a yoga mat for about an hour to 2 a day. And recently I've been spending probably 15, 20 minutes a day on the yoga mat. But I find that every minute you spend on the yoga mat during the day is very worthwhile.
That's great. Yeah, I do. I sauna, and then I'll do like 10, 15 minutes of meditation. I'm trying to wrap it up.
But man, on your boat?
Hard to focus. No, at my fitness club. Yeah, but I see direct correlations with business, personal life from just like you said, you got to know yourself, and a lot of people are moving so fast, they don't take the time to just kind of look inside. Okay, what do I need? What's the next step? What do I need to do? Where do I need to go?
You run a lot. That to me, what running is what running has always been. I love running.
Running is another form of meditation for me. Yeah, I'll do an hour and a half runs, 2-hour runs, 10, 20 miles. And so I definitely do meditate a lot during the runs.
I know it's no excuse, but I left my runners behind when I came down to Belize, and all of the runners here are these fake Nike and fake Adidas everything. I just can't I can't bring myself to wearing them. I couldn't bring myself to buying a fake pair of shoes that are gonna fall apart.
They work fine. When I lived in Africa, I would always get the fake a B-Bass instead of Adidas. And you just got to know it's only going to last you like 3 months. You just got to buy like 4 pairs instead of 1.
I've always foot health is so important to me. Like, your feet are the base of your entire being. I didn't realize how knotted up.
Go run barefoot.
Shape.
You can run barefoot. That's actually
I like running barefoot on fields or sand. So fields or sand, I find running barefoot's great. Running barefoot on concrete, you hurt your feet more than that.
Oh yeah. My Levi does that, and he gets blisters. He'll go on 10-mile runs with me, and I'm running through the city. I'm running through suburbs and stuff, and he'll run barefoot, and he'll get massive blisters on his feet, and he will be bleeding by the end.
I've always wanted those Toad Vibram shoes, so I actually bought a pair. I sent them to you, and they ended up in Virginia, so they'll be there when I get there.
Nice.
But remember, there that last package.
I think my mom was supposed to send them. You sent them to my mom's address by accident.
They're in Virginia. Yeah.
She's like,
it's you ordered something. I ordered it on your card too. I ordered a couple things. Your card was left in my Amazon, so I ordered them all to your mom's place.
Yeah, you sent a bunch of stuff to my mom's. It's all good, man. It's all good.
Well, it's been a pleasure.
It has, man. Yeah, where can people find you if they want to reach out for biz or for some business help or advice?
Find me on Instagram. Instagram's probably the easiest. Or come find me in person. I like in person everything far more than virtual.
100%.
Virtual's lost its allure to me. Might sound crazy in a world where everything's done virtually, but as cool as the virtual world is, it just
man. Even now on the podcast, when we're together, man, the vibes are amazing, man. It's good. Yeah. Even this, it's good, but I feel like when we're
disconnected,
when we're in person, we're gonna do another podcast, and I feel like it's gonna be 10 times more fire.
I agree. Well, we'll smoke a blunt together, do the Joe Rogan,
Joe
Elon
Rogan,
Musk thing.
Elon Musk.
You can dress up as Musk. I'll dress up as Joe Rogan. I already got the bald head, you know. So
I'll talk about Tesla. I do have a lot of stock in Tesla. I love Tesla.
I told a couple people about 4 months ago. I was like, if I could short something right now, it'd be Tesla. I just I don't
I
have a
know you've been
trading.
trying to get me to sell my Tesla stock for a bit. Yeah,
Bro, you'd be up like 200% right now
we're
if you
down
had
right
short.
now though. It's down. And how
Yeah,
many?
if you had shorted,
Oh yeah,
you'd
true. I
be
should
up.
have. I really should have.
Bro, I told a couple like hedge fund people and everyone, and now it's like, look, I got this tingle. I should have opened up an investment account again. I just have been head down.
You ever seen Over the
Crypto
Hedge, like Vern with the turtle?
yeah,
Tingle.
bro.
Oh,
I
we
was
watched Over the Hedge together when I was in Belize.
we did, yeah.
That's only like the third movie I've seen this year.
Really,
Top Gun,
bro. I
Over the
swear
Hedge.
I've watched my friends here have this little projector, and I swear we've watched more movies together than I have in my life. So
I don't watch movies, man. I used to, but I just don't. It's weird.
it's mind numbing. By the time you're done them, it's just like I feel weird. I feel lethargic. It feels
Really?
like my blood flow isn't proper. Like my heartbeat doesn't feel the same. But it takes me a while to get in tune with myself again after watching a movie.
I've just been reading a ton, like more than ever in my entire life. I have audiobooks.
It's good.
I'm reading this Born a Crime right now by Trevor Noah. Dude, fantastic book. Just a lot of cultural stuff about Africa and just
Born
really
a Crime.
Yeah, because so Trevor Noah, I don't know if you know who he is. He's a comedian, light-skinned comedian, half Swiss. He's South African, but half Swiss, half Xhosa, which is a tribe in South Africa. And and he was born during the apartheid, which is during a period in South Africa where it was illegal for white people to intermarry with black people and if you were mixed, it was a crime. So he was literally like on the streets. His mom would have another, like their maid, like a black lady, walk with him ahead of her, because she looked more light skinned, and then they would think that that's her son, and he couldn't call his mom, he couldn't call his dad, and they live separate. Like it was crazy, man. Like, and then it got lifted after Nelson Mandela, that whole thing, and yeah, and South Africa is like it's very behind the U.S. as far as like the racial stuff, and just growing up in that, and it was clearly like they had everything
Is it still
separated.
that far behind?
Yeah, man, it was recent.
Really?
I think Trevor Noah's like what he's almost 40 or I think he's 40 something, and it was in his childhood, like when he was like 10, 12 years old, so probably like 20, 30 years ago.
Okay. This goes back to why our generation needs more access to marijuana and psychedelics and everything than all the previous generations. All the previous generations are looking at us right now, legalizing everything, going, what the hell? Our people need access to it to abolish the idea in our minds that systematic oppression and segregation are all right. And yeah, let's just wipe the slate clean and start again. Everyone's so, yes, our history is important. And yes, let's learn from history. But if people identify with history and carry it, we're just never going to leave it behind. And that's where I feel like we all need to take a step forward.
We're all born the same. We all are born like you see kids playing with kids of other colors. You don't, like when I was a kid, man, all my friends were black. I didn't even know I was white. And then it's not until I came to the US and I'm experienced this different things and that you even find out about like racism and that it's like a thing. And it's just a man-made construct. In South Africa, it was just all built by the government to separate people. Like the black communities live completely separate than white communities in like townships, and they couldn't even like go in other areas. It was just completely.
You can't control without separation, and like there's always a power that's trying to
And then now actually what's funny is, so yeah, the whites it was like the US, right? The whites was more superior early on, and then now it's kind of been flipped a little bit, and now it's they're taking the land away from white people. And
really,
yeah, because the first the Afrikaans, which is the tribe that's the descendants from the first Dutch people that settled there, was like in the 1600s, I think. I might be mistaken a little bit, but yes, around that time. So there have been white people in South Africa for a while, right? But then there's so many other tribes, so it's gotten all intermixed, and then there's all the tribe clashes as well. I know from growing up in West Africa, I know it's a little different, but it's there's so many different tribes there, and different languages even within the same country. And the Europeans came in and built all of the borders of all the countries, right, from colonization. But these tribes have been living there way before that, and they sometimes spread into multiple countries, right? And so there's all kinds of, and that's why it's so hard for Africa to just become developed, is because of that, the unity, right? And just the difference between all the tribes. It's very interesting, man. It's very interesting. I find it fascinating.
that is interesting. I'm really not sure how I would cope with that growing up. Like I grew up in a town that was more than 50% First Nations people, and that to me was, I thought that was normal. But then I got to other towns and cities and realized that it's definitely not. There are definitely marginalized people from those communities, because like there's a lot of trauma in those communities. Like we're seeing all this stuff about the residential schools come out, so on and so forth. It's brutal, and it was mostly done under the name of the church too, which is crazy. So I was just mentioning how the church has, like, in Belize, it's crazy. The church still today has people convinced, unless their kids go to these private schools put up by the Pentecostal church or the Baptist church or whoever, that they won't go anywhere with their lives, and they pay like $500 a year or something for their kids to go to these schools, when those families make $3 a day per person working in their family. Like unless they're a really well-off family. So they're just being told to pay a higher price all the time than they can even afford to pay. And like that's the same way, like that's how oppression happens, is people are just told they have to be held to a higher standard or pursue some higher standard, when you can just create a higher standard for yourself.
Man, this is why I'm such an advocate for people taking untraditional path. You gotta pave your own way. Don't like you're told a lot of things.
You become very aware of all of
but
these.
You got to be aware of the systems and everything that's in place. And yes, everyone starts out with a different deck of cards, right? It's not equal. But you do
That's
have.
Why I said we're blessed to be in North America.
We're blessed, yeah. Like I said, we're blessed to be in the Western world, but you do have a say in your destiny. And a lot of people think that's not true, but you can make your own way.
Like Western culture right now is telling us that we can't make our own way, that the world's making our way for us, and that we're being oppressed. And like there's a lot of people that have fallen into this oppression. Like they fought against it, but just by fighting against it, they got tangled in it and kind of surrendered. It's one of the things where if you want freedom, claim freedom, and like you don't need to do much more than claim it. Stay free, right? That's why I left Canada while all of this craziness was going on. At first, like restrictions were just getting worse. I went, I'll get out of this so I went down to the US. I traveled all around the US, and I'd be going through towns where they're saying they had these riots, or cities where they had all these riots and different things. And streets are calm. There's nobody wearing masks. Like nothing really changed in the US, but the news is quite different. I hit 34 states this summer, and I was in a lot of towns when they said they had huge protests and things going on. Like whatever protest you saw on the news was maybe a city street or something for an hour.
It's all propaganda.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy that we're living in a world where the narrative determines that people feel they have to get involved in it. The more people get involved, the more they get sucked in. Like I said, they just get entangled in it and sucked in. That's why you just stay the fuck away from it.
I don't watch the news. I'm not subscribed to anything on anything, man. And a lot of people that drags them in. I don't touch it. If it's important enough, if the news is important enough and I need to know about it, I'll hear about it from a friend.
It's affecting me today.
But it's not affecting me directly. I'm not going to waste my attention. Attention is a currency, right? More so than anything. And you don't need to waste your attention on that, because it drags you down, man. And I've told this to you too. Like, freedom is my number one, right? Like if there's no freedom, yes, I'd be making, millions and millions of dollars a year. But if I'm locked in and there's no freedom, that's not it for me. That's not it for me. I'd rather.
Freedom doesn't just mean to do what you want. Freedom means to fuck up and to make mistakes too. Like, yes, there are mistakes you should be held accountable for, 100%. But freedom demands that you have the ability to make and learn. The choice. Yeah, the choice.
The ability to make mistakes and fail, succeed, and do what you think is right, and be able to speak your opinion, and just be able to say what you want. And yeah, man,
create a world that's more right than the last.
Exactly, and be improving and helping and benefiting everyone.
Yeah.
100%.
Hell yeah.
Boom. Killed it. Anything else you want to say, Kaden, before we wrap this up?
No, we've gone for like an hour and 20 minutes, bro.
Yeah, we're shooting for an hour and a half, but yeah, we'll cut it at an hour and 20. Guys, I'm excited for you to meet Kaden. I'm sure we'll definitely do some more episodes. He's one of the real ones, homie. Yeah, check him out on the gram. Yeah, if you have any questions about any kind of stuff, entrepreneurial stuff. If you are doing something similar on an untraditional path, like like Kaden, doing something against the norm, and you are interested in being on the podcast, reach out to me as well on my Instagram. It'll be linked below. And I would love to have you on here and hear some of your thoughts and opinions on, just going against the grain and doing your own thing and making the world a better place, right? That's what we're about. So, thanks for hopping on.
I have a great potential.
What's up?
For your next podcast, I'll introduce you.
Yeah, intro.
I have a great potential for your next podcast.
Let's do it.
I will.
Thanks, Kaden.
All right. Thanks, Jacoby.